Hi, folks. This is Mr. MegaManFan. Like, share, comment, subscribe. You know all the things to do. Previously on this channel, we looked at the Super Pocket from Hyper Megatech, which is another version of Blaze Entertainment, which makes the Evercade. And the Super Pocket is compatible with all Evercade games. The first version they released was a Capcom edition, which only included Mega Man and not Mega Man 2 and Mega Man X as the Evercade EXP does. But this version of the Super Pocket is a little more inclusive. The Taito edition includes 18 games, not just 12, and is also compatible with all Evercade products. So today on the channel, we're going to be taking a look at this one and see how it compares to the Capcom edition and give you my thoughts on which one is the preferable choice if you're only going to buy one, which you might want to do. So we'll start out by getting this out of the package, which unfortunately was sent to me in a bubble envelope and not in a box. And as you can expect, there was a little bit of damage to the box that it came in, because anything that could get set on top of it in a mail truck was going to crush whatever was inside of it. And you know they pile up the packages in those mail trucks during the holiday season. So the box itself is not perfect. I can live with it. I'm just annoyed when I turn it like this and I see a big crease and indentation in the side that's pretty much never going to come out unless I completely disassembled the box, laid it flat, put some heavy weights on top of it, and then reassembled it. And I don't think it's worth that much effort when it's just the outer box and the inner contents are fine, and it's a $59 item anyway. If I'd spent several $100s and I got a damaged box, then I would be really annoyed. Probably even return it and get a replacement at that point. But for this, I think I can live with the fact that the outer box is not perfect, but this unit appears to be undamaged in all ways. I really do prefer the color scheme compared to the Capcom edition. I think this really pops when you look at it. The neon blue on the dark black, the black buttons on the back of the blue unit. It has a very distinctive visual style, a very candy-esque style, I would say. Maybe that's not for everybody, but I think it looks great. And I even like the dummy cartridge in the Taito version more than the one in the Capcom version. But you could have some fun if you had both of them and put the dummy cartridge for one in the other and just get that unique visual contrast. Like pairing Joy-Cons with a Nintendo Switch version that it didn't come with. You could play around with that and make it whatever combination you like. And just as with the Capcom edition, there is a charge cord and a catalog inside advertising Evercade products. So essentially it's the same other than the color scheme and the games that come built into it. And what about those games? Well, we need to give this thing a little bit of charge, and then we need to take a look at those games and see how it looks performance-wise. So let's go ahead and turn it on and get a good idea of what we got going on. Now, during the initial setup process, I've turned the volume down to 50% because, as I learned from the Capcom version, it starts out really loud. So it's kind of obnoxious. It lets you know that the speakers are robust and the system itself is powerful enough to drive it, but at the same time, it's not something you necessarily want to hear while I'm just doing the setup and scrolling through the end user license agreements. So I'll turn it back up as soon as I finish with that and get into the settings menu and turn the volume down to a more reasonable level that you can hear. It's at least complimentary toward the system that you will not have any trouble hearing it, even at half the volume that it can put out. So if you're looking for something you can hear even in a crowded room, it's definitely that. Although, frankly, you might want to be using headphones if you're trying to play this at a party or a crowd and it does have a headphone jack on the bottom, as did the Capcom version. You can see the games here, some of the well-known Taito classics, the same things you would find on a Taito mini arcade system. In fact, you could probably watch my video of that from this channel and see that there's a lot of overlap on this. But the convenience factor here is that it's in a handheld form versus an arcade cab that you have to spend 2 to 3 times as much on and then plug into external HDMI output if you don't want to play it on the unit itself with that control setup itself. This is more suited towards Game Boy orientation, holding it in your hand, playing it portably. This is slim enough to stick in your pocket, hence the name Super Pocket. And given that it can drive even at a low level of sound, I think you could play this with volume turned way down and it wouldn't be noticeable. But if you have a pair of headphones with a 3.5-inch millimeter jack that you can plug in, just stick that in your pocket as well, and then you can plug in and play quietly. If you're, say you're with your family for the holidays and they want to talk and you want a game and you're not interested in their conversation about politics and taxes, then get out those headphones. If you still got the old-fashioned kind that don't require Bluetooth and wireless charging and all that fun shit, then fine. Just plug in the headphones and play this. I'm playing it one-handed while I'm filming, and I think I'm doing a decent job with Space Invaders 91 despite that, which is actually one of my favorite Taito games, so much so that I actually bought the Sega Genesis version of it. So all the usual accoutrements are here. You've got save states, you've got display options like the ratio, whether or not you want a pixel perfect display or not, scan lines, all that fun stuff. So you can go to town in the settings menu and put anything that you want into it. You can save your progress and come back at a later date. You can quit in the middle of a game and select a different game. It's all here. And I think the selection is quite robust. You've got things as familiar as Space Invaders and as obscure as Volfeed, which is a sequel to Kix, QIX. And I quite like the setup of Volfeed in that it maintains the same gameplay style where you cut off sections of the screen and fill them in to score points, but you also get power-ups for doing so, like weapons you can shoot at the enemies on the screen or additional speed to clear sections faster. So it's a fun take on the Kix formula. Overall, if you're going to buy just one of these, I really recommend the Taito version. That's weird coming from Mr. MegaManFan, but honestly, I was disappointed with the Capcom version only having 12 games and only one Mega Man game. And since both versions are $59 and Evercade compatible, go with the one that has more games. I'm Mr. MegaManFan. Thanks for watching.